It's that time again. It's Ultimate Adventure, the original hardcore off-road event. This is the 20th Ultimate Adventure we put on since the first one way back in 1999. Every year, the staff of Peterson's 4-Wheel and Off-Road assemble a group of enthusiasts, sponsors, invited readers, and support cronies who take unique and highly built 4x4s on a once-in-a-lifetime week-long off-road adventure. Each year, we hit a different part of the country, visiting some of the most beautiful places that few are privileged to see. We tackle some of the hardest off-road terrain imaginable, rack up over 1,000 on and off-road miles, and drag along everything in our vehicles we need to live, eat, and survive, sometimes not seeing civilization for days on end. Participants have no idea what kind of terrain is in store for them, or even in what part of the country the event is going to take place until a few weeks before go time. It's all part and parcel of what makes Ultimate Adventure the greatest off-road event of its or any other kind. And whether rain or snow or worldwide pandemic, nothing keeps the UA show from going. This year, Ultimate Adventure starts off in Kalispell, Montana and heads into the heart of America. And it starts now. All right, UA Day 1, welcome to UA 2020. We made it. Man, it was a monumental effort getting this thing up and off the ground. I won't say what 2020 has been so far, but man, we're gonna turn it around and make the best out of this year. As always, Trent has come out here and pre-run the best route. With that, I'll let Trent talk about the day we're in for today.
We are going to be going to the Blacktail Wild Bill OHV area. It's a very cool, very unique trail system. It's in a national forest, but all of the obstacles in the area are man-made. To my knowledge, it's the only place like it in a national forest in this country. So it should be pretty cool.
Stay straight through town around the courthouse. What do you call a pile of kittens? Ground beef. A meowton.
I've always sort of been obsessed with the Jeeps that they used in North Africa during World War II. They were used by the British SAS, and for some reason they cut all but the 2 center slats out of the grille to improve airflow. I'm not really sure that helps, but the look is kind of iconic. If you know that that's what they did and you see this Jeep, you know this Jeep is built in honor of what they did during World War II. So leading up to Ultimate Adventure, I probably worked on it for about 2 months and really hard working on it for 6 weeks. I'm super excited to see how it does. I think it's a good mix of off-the-shelf parts and capability going down the road. And hopefully it'll work pretty well off-road. I haven't really had it off-road. We did some mall crawling last night in the parking lot, and that's about all I've done in terms of four-wheeling in it.
So from a cameraman's perspective, I don't like that they painted it flat tan. We got dark skies today. It's dusty out. It's brown here. They painted the Jeep brown, so it's not gonna pop in the photos. But other than that, it works great. Vern knocks it out of the park every year, and he outdid himself this time.
I'm a local Kalispell, Montana, Big Sky 4-wheeler member. We maintain and do the trail. So the Forest Service paid for all the materials and the club did all the labor and assembled all the kiosks. There's 9 of them total, and they all have a map on them, and the map tells you where you're at. And there's so many different trails in and out and different configurations you can do that people were getting lost going in and not knowing how to get back out. So that's the key to the kiosks, makes it everything says where you are, and then you get a good baseline of how to get back out from where you need to be.
We're always getting asked, what should I build to get invited on UA? Well, the answer's kind of disappointing to many because each year the formula for what we're looking for is different. This year, we were definitely skewing towards the unique and oddball side of the spectrum. From an Easter egg colored Suzuki Sidekick on 1-tons and 40s, to 2 full-size trail slaying pickups, a sleeper Scout with a modern drivetrain, and an ice cream candy van on 40s.
when I was a kid looking at my dad's four-wheel drive magazines. There was a four-wheel drive van in there, and ever since then I wanted one. There aren't too many vans out, fully built anyway. It came into the shop as a two-wheel drive, 4.3 liter V6 with a 3-speed manual. Took the drivetrain, engine transmission out of an 02 Tahoe, 99 to 04 Super Duty front, and first gen 14-bolt rear. It's a unibody chassis, so did a lot of stiffening. It's got Skyjacker 6-inch Chevrolet truck springs on the front, stock Tahoe rear springs for the suspension on the rear, and shocks all the way around from Skyjacker.
Hi, my name is Brody Botts. I'm driving a 1994 Suzuki Sidekick, 4.3 Chevy powered, dual Toyota transfer cases on 40s and 1-tons. So we left early Monday and ended up getting a frozen rear axle that we had to beat out of an axle housing. Had to drive back home to San Diego and put stock axles back in. And then the drive here, we did spark plugs and wires, a stuck thermostat, and a fuel pump in the middle of nowhere as well. So it's been fun. It's UA though.
Yeah, I'm Ryan. I'm one of the readers picked this year, and I have a 2003 F-150, and the first day of UA is awesome. We've got rocks and roads and dirt, and nobody's broke yet, so I think we're doing pretty good.
You know, anyone who knows the name Chris Durham knows he comes from a rock crawling championship background, so Chris has always been one of the better drivers any of us has known. So when you're off 100 yards from the obstacle and you hear an engine pinging off red line, and you look over and you see it's that Durham blue hood, it's like, ooh, let's go watch. So Chris always puts on a great show, and today he didn't disappoint. And Ian Johnson in his Ultra 4 car, I mean, he's got some throttle, and that vehicle is well built, and it's really enjoyable to watch.
I've never wheeled in Montana, let alone Kalispell before. Driven through Montana a bunch of times, so I'm pretty excited. I think there's going to be some good views, maybe some big rocks, and a whole bunch of fun.
Any off-roader that watches TV probably recognizes Ian Johnson, and it was great to have him on the trip this year. Ian's actually doing an episode of 4-Wheeler TV on UA from his perspective, and it'll be appearing on MotorTrend. If you know Ian, he's always good for some shenanigans.
Trent, I know you work really hard at doing the Ultimate Adventure, and I wanted to give you this token of my appreciation.
What is this?
This is a beautiful, I got you, Christian, and Vern these beautiful watches, mainly because you all drive diesels now, and diesel guys always have big, chunky watches.
Okay.
And so I would really like this if you wore it for the rest of the week. It made me feel good in my heart.
Well, thank you.
So that's your, you have a gold one, and then, Vern got a gold one, Christian got a silver one. So I got that for you.
Well, thank you, Ian.
I spent a whopping $3 on it.
That is, and it looks it.
It does.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
no, it's perfect.
I was busy picking my right playlist song.
So we got a log jam tire pile thing up here that has all the wrong dimensions for me to get through. Ian shot it, managed to kind of bump up and over the tire on the left and made it look pretty good, but this truck squashes that tire and it doesn't provide any elevation as you go over it, so it just doesn't work, and I'm going around.
Trying to find 2223 East Ave. Are we on the right way?
I think so. Straight ahead.
Got it.
Fix that thing!
Just a little body modification after that that last little, yeah,
Clean one owner.
This is actually my second trip through the UA, being in the state of Montana, but we have never wheeled this area. Looking forward to it.
The poor Quigley van is all up in that tree.
It's doing really good.
It's a little tight. Rubbed the tree right here, just lightly, didn't break the glass. Got good skid plates, it pulls it right through. These Falcon tires work awesome. So does Skyjacker, so does a Quigley full drive. Just driving along. It's a little tight, but we're okay.
So I got my 77 Scout, took it up to Alaska last year. Still running the same 392 International V8. Made it to an NV 4500 5-speed overdrive transmission. Jeep Dana 300 transfer case with 4-to-1 gears. We have a Dana 44 front axle and a Dana 60 rear with 513 gears and air lockers front and rear. So it's gets along pretty well. Gauge lockers when you need it, turn them off when you don't. Got air conditioning, got CD player, everything but cruise control.
This new line coming in, we used to back into that, and it's just that rock face, and over time it wears down like that. And this rock being mostly shale, the shale breaks up, so you're always wearing it away. So this new line coming over this way, you get to hit that rock face, and you can get a tire up on that, and if you're long enough wheelbase, you can make that line, or you can come over and hit this other line coming in from the left. But the bad thing about it is it's your passenger side tire that's going over that side, so it's blind to you, so it gets a little weird.
You know, so far the guys are doing pretty well. I mean, what's cool about this place is that you can make it as hard or as easy as you want it to. Of course, the group being what it is, guys are, taking the hard lines and stuff like that. Everybody's having a good time. I mean, there's been a few guys that have been having locker problems, myself included, unfortunately. But, we're all making it through and having a good day so far.
I ended up blowing a hydraulic line on my steering setup, and my fuel pump coming up one of the steep grades on the last runs, we tipped right below the level of the gas, so we had to put some gas in it. But other than that, she's working great. We're happy with it, and other than oil all over the car, we're having a blast.
We got some nice cloud cover, smoke cover, but it's keeping the temperatures really nice. It's really dusty, but there's a lot of fun obstacles here. This is a great park. The Gladiator, I think I've got the longest wheelbase here, so I get a little bit of diaper rash. Definitely the tow hook in the rear is taking a beating. So this trail is definitely made for a lot of shorter wheelbase vehicles, but the Gladiator works really great. It's got a great suspension package from Skyjacker. The Dana axles work great. I'm just doing everything everyone else is doing. I just drag the tail a little bit.
Well, the front drive shaft on the Scout just separated. This is a pretty steep dip or whatever, and I think it just flexed enough to separate the drive shaft. Fortunately, it's another easy fix, just 4 bolts. We slid it back together. The bigger question is why to do it in the first place. Maybe the drive shaft's not quite the right length, but it's been together for over a year. It's never happened before, but it happened today.
We'll take off, and we got some offset tie rods here on the drag link, and just too much pressure from the day, probably an old wore off part with some stress cracks from Moab, something like that. And she finally just popped when I took off. So no harm, no foul. We'll have it changed out in about 20 minutes and be back on the trail.
20 minutes? 20 minutes?
Well, we started sputtering a little bit, and I noticed fuel pressure gauge just started dropping out of the blue. The fuel pump feels really hot right now. We got a spare pump, so we're good there. We're just going to try to change it out as fast as we can and move on.
So day one, today was kind of an easy trail day in the grand scheme of things, but it's usually the easy days or the road days to get the vehicle. So we had a fuel pump go out, we had a drive shaft separate, we had just minor mechanical issues, but it's nothing this group can't get through. Everyone bands together, helps each other. Before you know it, we're back rolling as a group again. So day 2, we're going to get up bright and early, have our driver's meeting, and then we're leaving the town of Kalispell, and we're not going to see civilization for several days. Some great adventures, some great views, some great action.
So I bought you and Trent and Christian beautiful custom watches. And I would really appreciate if you wore this for the whole event. This is, I spent $3.50 on this watch.
I can assure you I'll wear it.
I hope you wear it the whole
I'll wear it until I die.
Look.
Yeah, there you go. I made it like a funny face, but
I'm buying random people gifts all week.
I like it. I mean, you sure you can afford this?
And it was $3.50 US though.
Oh, not Canadian.
Not Canadian either. It stung a lot. But I thought that one spoke to me as a bird.
This is my kind of watch.
I thought
Right here.
You know what it is?
I probably haven't worn a watch in 20 years. But my God, this is the one I would wear.
Because you drive a diesel, you need the big chunky watch and sparkly pants.
Yes, chunky.
Chunky.
Great.
Oh, there's like an anti-scratch plastic film on the crystal even.
That's the best feeling when you pull that off.
What do these knobs do?
Nothing.
That's a placebo knob. The reason it costs $3 is you can't set the time.
No, I don't believe it actually even keeps track of time. It's more just for show.
Yeah.
It's more just for show.
Yes.
Twice a day the time's right.
It's right up my alley, twice a day.
What's happening here though, man? Look at that. Woo!